tight core. Guardians have several.
Oh, I had so many mute buttons on after that brilliant opening. Did anybody hear that opening? Oh my goodness. Oh man, I'm gonna start over. Welcome everybody to the stream. We are in the finals of the Season 7 TTS season. We have the defending champion from Australia, Morgan Reed, piloting his Guardians of the Galaxy against the scrappy Scotsman, Liam Watts, bringing us a wonderful Brotherhood list that he likes to famously run very tall. With me today is my friend and extraordinaire strategist, Huggy Bear. Welcome, Huggy Bear, and say hello.
Thank you, Norbert. How are you today?
A little bit better now that everything's unmuted. Oh, there's so many mute buttons on this thing. I'm doing well, drinking coffee. You're having a coffee as well because, of course, Swedish coffee is famously delicious. Now let's have a sip. Yeah. Okay, now we're here. All right. I was just saying how we are almost ready to start the stream with the games, but we wanted to go over some of the rosters. And so we were just taking a look at Morgan Reed's roster, which is Guardians of the Galaxy, but has a fair number of Brotherhood models actually splashed into it, along with the Hulk and, of course, Thanos. So what do you make of this combination?
I make of this as a by now more or less classic Guardians roster where you run the super tight Guardians core. They are blessed with two great affiliated twos, so they can go have a core with super low points. They can have a core of as little as 7 points, which opens up a ton of space for some big hitters allied in. And by chance, the Star-Lord leadership is great with some of the more expensive models out there, such as Juggernaut, Hulk, and Thanos that we see Morgan rocking here.
I think that's the big thing about Guardians, why everybody likes it so much, is that you get to put those extra rerolls on anybody you like, and consequently, instead of like the initial builds, which were really wide, taking advantage of the cheap characters that can form a core of Guardians, people are actually taking them quite tall now, and because they want to put those rerolls on really deadly characters. Is that your sense of the meta right now?
Yes, that is certainly a great way to play Guardians. You can also play them super wide, but that's not probably not what we're going to see here.
Mm.
We can also note that among his crises, Morgan has somewhat of a bias towards lower points. His highest threat value is 17.
Mm-hmm.
Scratch that. He has Mutant Madman at 18. But he somewhat differs from Liam's crisis setup, who is biased in the other direction, who has mostly high threat crises. So we might see if Morgan wins priority that he would try and force lower points, indicating that he's more prepared to play that kind of game.
Okay. Let's take a look at Liam's then while we're at it. As I said, he's playing the Brotherhood, and he's got Black Cat, Doctor Voodoo, very meta choices these days. He has, though, like I said, thrown a lot of big characters in there. He's got Hulk, Juggernaut, and Thanos. I believe he's running the reality. Yeah, there it is. Space and reality Thanos. Then he also has a heavy hitter in Scarlet Witch on top of it, and then kind of the usual roundouts to make a nice set of Brotherhood characters. So. But he doesn't play traditionally, as I mentioned. So what do you think about this roster?
Liam has made himself famous this season for going super tall. Often 3 characters wide with Magneto, Juggernaut, and then either Hulk or Thanos, depending on the points level. So he surprised quite a lot of people when he, in the semifinals last week, actually branched out and played Mystique against Frederick. So he does have the option to switch should Morgan manage to put him at an awkward points level. But we will. I'm certainly expecting to see him go as tall as possible, as few models as possible to control that priority. And one thing of note is that there is a difference between the two Thanoses. Morgan is running Space and Mind Gem,
Hmm.
and Liam is running the Space and Reality Gem. And the Reality Gem would make Liam's Thanos slightly favored in a one-off. Not sure how the maths of winging it tokens from the Guardians leadership skew that, though. But technically, Liam's Thanos is slightly stronger on both the offensive and the defensive side.
Yeah. So I was going to say, usually you like to, if you have a very tall list with Thanos, you like to go last. But then you have Space and Mind Gem, and you could do all the control shenanigans to kind of take advantage of the end of the turn situation. If Liam goes tall here, though, he's got more of a fighty Thanos, and so does that really make sense against Brotherhood Guardians?
I mean, Morgan always has the option to run Thanos, but in a wider team, which means that his Thanos will be activating after Liam's Thanos, possibly, and then just hanging back as a support character and erasing all of Liam's positioning after he has made his last activation. That is one possible approach to this game. Interestingly, we saw more or less this precise matchup earlier in the cut between Liam and Rich Mid. And that was a very fun game to comment. It was very exciting, very tight, and could have gone either way up until very late in the game.
Yeah, that was really fun to watch and really tight. It was just kept swinging back and forth. Who was having the upper hand at the time? All right, let's take a quick look at then Liam's crises here. What do you think these say comparative to what Morgan might want to run?
Yeah, as I was saying, he's running. He's biased towards high costs. 17 points and as well as 19 points is his preferred levels, obviously, because at 19 it evens out perfectly with Magneto, Juggernaut, and 8-point Thanos, and at 17 it evens out with Magneto, Juggernaut, and Hulk that he also likes to play. Interestingly, he has Mutant Extremists in there, which is a very low points level objective. But I think that that is due to him so that he can run only single extract crises, given that he has Black Cat and Voodoo at hand.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Which let me double check, but I don't think Morgan has that kind of control. He does have Quicksilver.
He does
And
have Voodoo, but no Black Cat.
yeah, but he has got Quicksilver. So it's not the same, but similar. Let's take a look.
I do think he has. Can I borrow that? So yeah, he can. He can achieve similar results as a Black Cat at some point during the game. And
Exactly.
Quicksilver is also a great model for secure pay-to-flips, just running around and flipping objectives all day long.
Quick shout out to Frederick B from Sweden. He was in the semifinals. Unfortunately, he didn't make it through, but he's here in the chat, so hopefully he'll give us some interesting Brotherhood tips to help us in our commentary today. Right. So I was just going to ask though. Liam has that one short, that one very low threat value. Do you think he'll go for that though, considering that Guardians can go quite low and still have quite a few number of characters?
I would not be surprised to see him pick Cures if he wins priority. But who knows? I mean, there is a slightly bigger chance that he gets a higher threat value if he picks extracts, but then he's also risking himself putting forward extremists. So I'm certain that he has a plan for that if that would happen. Probably branching into Mystique in that case. But yeah, will be the priority role and the crisis level will certainly impact Liam's choices heavily, whereas Morgan has, I think, more of an inbuilt flexibility with his Guardians, given his super low cost core.
All right. Let's take a quick look then at their tactics cards. So this is Liam again. Remember, he's playing quite tall Brotherhood list. And he's got Gamma Launch, which is the fun one, isn't it?
Yes. At 17 points with Hulk, he becomes super duper mobile. I've seen him Gamma Launch Juggernaut up to mid-table immediately, and then activating either just Asteroid M, Magneto up, basically to anywhere on the board after Juggernaut has activated and generated the extra power, or he could just not activate Juggernaut first and use Asteroid M after giving him an extra power with the Magneto leadership.
Okay, and let's take a look at the Morgan's cards. I mentioned, can I borrow that? But anything else jump out at you?
The can I borrow that is certainly it warms my heart to see, because it's been a at times it's been a somewhat maligned card that you sort of it's been seen as a bit too hard to apply for its value, but seeing how a competent player such as Morgan making good use of cards like that is always very fun and interesting.
Cool. All right.
Escort safety is also something to keep an eye on, given that it can negate one of Liam's all-important attacks. And if he ends up going super tall, that means that every single action is worth its weight in gold, and every way Morgan has to steal actions away from Liam is going to hurt him.
Gotcha. Okay, I am now going to switch the feed over to the match. Let me go ahead and turn this off. Yes, and then turn this on. Looking for a game. Boom, found the game. All right, we are in. Can you see it, Huggy?
I can see it.
Okay, wonderful. All right, lovely that we had a few minutes to go through the roster, so we don't have to go look at their cards. The players are going to go ahead and do that now. Oh, before I forget, I'm going to turn on the streaming view. See, oh, the clock's not bugged this time. Huzzah! And see if I can move these clocks just a little down. There we go. And let's see, Morgan's written me a message. And he's asking if they should kick off. I say it's time to kick off. Have that ref blow the whistle and throw the ball. And I want to mention that Utility Cookie is our table judge today. Cookie, one of the most insightful type of players that have been in the game. A lovely fellow from Rotterdam, but he is now also a accuser, so one of our judges, and so he'll be playing on the table and making sure everything is done nice and clean and nothing is overlooked. Meanwhile, we are going to get the roll off very soon, I'm sure. Liam and Morgan are both ready for this. They've had over a week now to practice, if they so wish to, and I think, after, what is it now, 6 weeks now, because 5 weeks, right? We had 32 players in the cut, so 5 weeks of practice. These folks are now got these rosters completely bedded into their mind. Their muscle memory is strong. They are ready to play this game to their maximum potential, don't you think?
Yes, a final is always the culmination of a long season. This has been the biggest season so far. It's fantastic to see the league keep growing even after physical play has become a very, very attractive option and a preferred option for sure. But seeing the international community keep growing through Tabletop Simulator is certainly a boon to MCP community building.
It is amazing how big the game's gotten. All right. The overhead display is bugged. It is showing Morgan for both. Hopefully they'll get fixed. But Morgan is at the bottom of the screen currently. He's be playing red. Oh, looks like
It appears
it fixed now.
that we've got the beach map,
Oh yeah, the beach map.
and
Let's see.
that is one of the few maps in the current set that doesn't have that many big terrain pieces centrally on the table. So this is already a small advantage to Morgan, I'd say.
Yep.
Given how Magneto likes to throw shit around.
So first of all, I want to mention that this is Cookie's map. Good old Cookie, not only judging but also helping us with a nice map. And kind of appropriate, I think, for Australians everywhere because they love being at the beach. Although it is getting into winter for them, sadly. I'm sure there's still plenty of beach weather left. What we have is a gazebo here in the middle. So this is where you can get your drinks while you're at the beach. For some reason, though, Cookie's elected to put a bunch of rusty cars into the surf. I'm not sure what he was thinking here. Maybe just finished watching Fury Road, perhaps. And then he's got a size 3 cabin here off to the side and a bunch of quads here on size 1. A lot of size 1. So you're right, not a very heavily...
The pickup truck might be a size 3.
There's a size 3, yeah.
So there are 3 size 3s, but then only size 2 and size 1s. So that is not what the Brotherhood player likes to see. He wants a couple of 4s and as big terrain pieces as possible to make good use out of those throws.
Right on. So Liam has won the priority roll, so he'll get to decide if he wants secures.
All right.
Extracts. I believe
someone has already picked their secure. I would.
Yeah, let's see here.
Looks like Montesi formula and something.
Yeah, let's take a look. Hold on. I just got a stream. I'm trying to see. All right, so first of all, 17 or 19. So yeah, we have the Montesi formula as the extract and 19 intrusions.
Yeah, and that gives away that Liam picked secures as predicted.
Okay, cool. And yeah, so he got secures. So this is intrusions. So this is what people consider a slow crisis and also very high point value, although he doesn't get to choose the point value.
Yes, so Morgan gets to choose the point value now. And sort of expecting him to pick 17 here, making it harder for Liam to squeeze his Thanos in. But maybe Morgan has some thought-out build at 19 that he prefers as well. So I can see both options, but I would expect 17.
Okay, so all right. The players now are probably going into their hidden mode. Sure enough. And I didn't get a note just yet for which threat value they took, so we may have to wait until those rosters start growing up. Take a quick look into the chat. We've got a lot of West Coast people here that I recognize. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see. We've got Marcus is from Cornwall. It's here along with Wargaming Dad. They have a big tournament today. 22 players down in Southwest England. Wonderful to hear that. Then who else do we have here? We got Finger Guns. Wow, he's East Coast, and so it's quite late night or very early in the morning, if you will. But he's one of the TOs for the TTS League. Good to see him here. Xavier Protocols in the house, and who else?
Americans for staying up.
I know. Hey, Big Blake is here.
Or getting up.
Big Blake will be able to give us some tall tips as well, since he was also another one of the proponents of a very tall list. He likes to choose violence as much as Liam does, so it'd be good.
Advocator of violence on the table. Yes.
And Roster Doctor, wow, he's back. I haven't seen him in ages. He's here. He's on the West Coast, so he's having a late night. Hopefully, he's got himself a cocktail of some sort. And people saying the map is weird.
Yeah, so we can see here that Morgan got to choose sides, so he elected the facing of the map that made it so that most of the terrain is actually more or less inside Liam's deployment zone.
What do you mean? Say again.
Morgan, since he didn't get priority, he is allowed to
pick
rotate the map, and he rotated it in such a way that more than 50% of the size 2 pluses, or 50%, is more or less inside Liam's deployment zone. So it will be slightly harder for him to reach those while going on the offense.
That is amazing. That is a really amazing, interesting aspect of this map. You're totally right about this. Having all this collateral down here, and it's not on. I mean, all he's got is an ice cream cart and a spell. Well, that's
Yeah, and on top of that, Morgan has a size 3 very close to his board edge, but that's going to be quite far away for Liam to reach. So maybe we'll see Morgan skewing to his left flank.
Okay, interesting.
Maybe we should rotate the view so that we see the table from the side.
Let's do that right now. All right, so we have. Oh, I did it the wrong way though, because I
think it was the right way.
Yeah, you think, because why would he? So, Liam's. It says Liam's red, so I'm going to put it the way it says this overhead stream is saying. Okay. I see what you mean, though. Having all that stuff in the deployment zone is going to make it out of the contention. I was looking at it where it was in Morgan's deployment zone and also out of contention. So I guess it doesn't matter one way or the other. The point is he's moved it in such a way that the cars and the trucks are not as accessible once they get into the middle of the table.
Apparently, it's 19 threat.
Okay, cool. Can't get this table.
Interestingly, I have Savior Protocols is speculating in the chat whether this is a way for Morgan to force Thanos. I was about to say that I have heard him speak on Strike Better that he thinks that in a Thanos off, the player with a wider team is heavily favored because he can go last with a Thanos. But now we see that Morgan has elected not to even put his Thanos in the team. Instead, we're seeing Juggernaut and Hulk. Very interesting.
Yeah, so people have said that Morgan does not favor necessarily using Thanos all the time. But let's start with Liam, because we see his characters already. He has taken his favored lineup, which is Thanos with the Space Reality Gem, Magneto, of course, and then Juggernaut. And that combination he's very keen on. Let me go through the cards real quick. He's got Patch Up, Asteroid M, Magnetic Fraction, another favorite card of his. Do You Know Who I Am? And Medpack. So lots of healing there, lots of throwing, and of course Asteroid M. And that is 19 points. I'm trying to do the math real quick. 12, 14, 19 points. On Morgan's side, we have Star-Lord, of course, Groot, of course, and Rocket, naturally. Then Hulk, who he is in love with. He said on his recent podcast that he loves Hulk. Interesting, though, he's taken Juggernaut as well. So essentially quite tall a list for a Guardians list. Field Dressing, Brace for Impact, of course, Sacrifice, Indomitable, and Do You Know Who I Am? What are your thoughts?
Those are some very interesting. Sacrifice is always gold when it comes to facing against tall teams that want their attacks to go where they intend them to go, and not be put on some other characters. So that's card is going to be very useful for him. He also has Indomitable, which Liam does not. So Morgan has the possibility to negate Liam's Do You Know Who I Am, whereas the other way around is not true. And then Morgan also has the all-important Field Dressing card that can nullify a daze at a key moment.
Yeah, so there is quite a bit of resilience in both lists, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Liam has his sort of classic setup. He is biased towards healing to favor the grind, Patch Up and Medpack there. Do You Know Who I Am? Fantastic card. And Magnetic Refraction, which is stacks with the defensive capabilities of Thanos and Juggernaut mainly. An amazing card, really. Guardians with their winged tokens can still get those spikes to power through it, but yeah, it's an amazing card. And Asteroid M is a card that we generally see played round 1 with Liam's style of play. Will be interesting to see if that's going to be the case this game. I would assume so, but who knows?
All right, we've had Liam put his construct up in front of Magneto, basically, right here. But I think he's passed because Morgan has the first move, and he's moved Star-Lord over to pick up a what do you call it, spellbook.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not showing on the overhead display. I see it on his card, though.
Yeah. So will be interesting to see if we see a skew towards any flank from Morgan here, possibly his left flank, given that there is even less terrain to throw there, making it hard for Liam to grab that size 3 hut. Cottage.
So, yeah, it's a gazebo.
Gazebo. No, not the gazebo in the middle. The little
little
cottage.
This here,
cabin.
the hot dog stand or the cabin?
Yeah.
The cabin. So interesting. I just want to quickly point out to everybody that Hulk and Juggernaut are pretty much in the center. Star-Lord he put on the right flank, but now he's moved him into the middle and to pick up that spell book. Meanwhile, it was Groot and Rocket on the left flank. He's just now moved Rocket behind that little hot dog stand for some reason, but not really in any position to do anything except perhaps do Overwatch on that intrusion or dark portal on the top of the screen. Now, Liam has moved forward his Juggernaut and crashed into that gazebo and not completely demolished it. Yep. And now he's going to move.
Generating power.
Yes, of course. Yeah, generating power. Quite a bit of power, right? So three power got distributed, and he's picking up the spell book. What do you make of Star-Lord picking up a spell book, considering he's got a lot of long-range energy attacks already?
I think that he didn't pick it up because of intention to use it. I think he picked it up because Star-Lord is a character that he can safely hang back and protect the objective to ensure safer scoring.
Okay. People suggesting that Star-Lord placement was a feint. Interesting. I'm not sure about that.
He was deployed at the right side, but then moved towards the middle, so possibly indicating an upcoming skew for Morgan towards the left flank. It will certainly be interesting to see. Juggernaut's placement is important because he is the Juggernaut.
Which Juggernaut?
Which Juggernaut? The Liam's Juggernaut, because that's where Asteroid M would be played. But since he chose to use Unstoppable Force to destroy the gazebo, he currently does not have the power to use Asteroid M round 1. I see.
Good. All right. And he does have the spell book, though. So he's basically looking to hold on to that spell book and that point by tanking the incoming attacks.
Yeah. It's interesting to see that we might see an attempt by Liam to play to outscore Morgan here, given that he took the middle extract and thus is favored in that department. Morgan, however, has the last activation every round, and he has Hulk that has a size 4 throw, and Juggernaut that has a one-time size 4 throw. So Morgan is still heavily favored on the secure game. So a 3-3 score round 1 is certainly a possibility here.
Mm-hmm. So Groot has moved up alongside with Rocket onto the top flank there, and so he is holding that portal. Now Thanos has moved forward quite early in the turn, actually, and has picked up a spell book. And let's see where he goes next.
He does not want a spellbook on Magneto, since he wants him to be able to teleport with Asteroid M at some later point during the game.
Exactly. exactly. One of the best sorts of rules that AMG has come up with, which is portaling being restricted if you're holding an extract. Unfortunately, a few characters now have been introduced that are allowed to do that, so we're have to see how the meta shifts to account for that kind of mechanic coming back into the game.
Looks like Thanos is gonna try and use his tractor beam to bring Star-Lord into harm's way.
Okay, good point. So he's within 4, so he'll be able to use his what's the name of his thing? It's a cosmic portals.
Cosmic portal, I think.
Yeah.
Portal.
Portal. There it goes. Just as predicted. Come on in here, big guy. Join the party. He's gonna make Star-Lord dance in front of him. All right. Let's see. Okay, so I was going to ask about the portals, Huggy. What happens? Or is this the one? Sorry, these portals are the ones where you can pay and you can teleport to another one unless you roll a skull, and then your opponent gets to put you against another one. Is that right?
Unless you roll a skull or a blank.
Or blank, even. Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Okay.
So there are 5 results that allow you to move, pick portal for yourself, and I think that's the crit, hit, wild, or shield. A block is the name of the result.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
So
we
see. You want to comment on that attack?
Yeah, I'm going to attack. It looked like Liam was thinking about putting Thanos back with his second action, but instead elected to shoot Star-Lord, which was kind of funny. He's rolled quite well. He's rolled 4 hits altogether, seems like. And that was 1 defense, so that is 3 damage into Star-Lord, putting him on half of his health. Okay, Big Blake is very pleased to see the violence starting quite early in the game, as you might expect.
Yep.
Roster Doctor also quite worried about the amount of violence that he's going to be seeing today. It's quite late for him over there. It might be difficult for him to go to sleep after watching this game with all the violence.
Interesting to see that the Hulk is going already. I was expecting him to go last, but then again, since Juggernaut doesn't have a ton of power on him, Morgan can quite safely move Hulk up and not expect an Asteroid M, since Juggernaut is currently at 0 power, and Magneto only has the option, the possibility to give him 1 power per turn by throwing terrain pieces.
All right, so look, this is a consequence of Liam wanting to shoot Star-Lord. He didn't put Thanos back into a safer position. Hulk was able to Gamma Leap and then move into range 2 of Thanos, and now has decided to hit him for 5 damage plus the wild trigger against 2 shields, though. So with the Thanos' reduction ability, that should be only 2 hit points of damage. Wait, am I wrong? 4, 5.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
this is an offensive move by Morgan. He's throwing Thanos backwards to put him in range of his Juggernaut. So he looks to be planning for murdering Thanos.
Yeah, I was just going to make that same point. Is that, you know, it's always hard to do it, but everybody keeps saying, "Oh, just take out Thanos, then he's okay. Take out Thanos." Okay, it's not easy, but here he's made it a lot easier on himself.
I think that you want to have a clear line of play, meaning that either you take Thanos out or you try to ignore him and take out everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, in my experience, taking out Thanos is often the right call. But then again, when he has the reality gem, there are not many things in the game that can do that reliably. So depending on positioning, terrain, game state, other options might be more favorable. But obviously, Morgan has decided to try and take down Thanos here, and apparently he did some damage as well with Hulk there.
Yeah, I'm just letting Jacob know that Thanos has got too many hit points on him. They fixed it. Brilliant. Yeah. There it goes. So Thanos only has 2. As I was like, man, I actually remembered the the reduction thing, and I did the maths right, but then they didn't do it, and I'm like, damn it. Anyhow, so Magneto can do nothing but walk. So he just walked himself up to the point in the middle. So they definitely own that point. Juggernaut, as you now predicted, is going to go after Thanos. He
Note how refraction.
Oh yeah, he did.
He put magnetic refraction up.
Okay, thank you. Yes, he did put up, which is crucial. It is essentially cover, regardless of the distance, as I now know. So even if you're within 2, you still get cover, and so that's helping the damage mitigation kind of approach that Liam is taking. All right.
Juggernaut has a winging it token on him, so he's certainly prepared to make a big roll.
Okay, so
maybe Morgan is regretting his placement of Thanos after the throw here, because it made Juggernaut's movement options somewhat awkward here.
True. I don't think he had much options because Hulk's base was kind of in the way. But in any case, he's moved forward. He's got his extra power because of that. And now the question is what is he doing with it? What he could do, I was just going to say, he's going to do you know who I am?
Do you know who I
am? This is great. He's throwing Thanos into Africa. It's so good. What a great way to neutralize Thanos.
I wouldn't say neutralized. He has, and it appears that he maybe won't go for that. Maybe he will. He's considering it at least.
Keep in mind, everybody, that you can throw models through yourself. So he is not, even though he has a big base, it is not going to be a problem putting it anywhere he likes.
That is correct. Thanos is, however, super mobile with his space gem and can pull in people with his portals. So getting him far away, it helps for a short period of time, but Thanos will come around.
Sure. And Asteroid M is always on the table. So if things get ugly back there, Magneto can go in and help.
Correct. But Asteroid M is not really in play at the moment since...
No, not now. Next turn.
Yeah. But he can only place himself next to affiliated Brotherhood models, meaning Juggernaut, who is the only affiliated Brotherhood model other than Magneto on the table. And Juggernaut is holding a book, so he won't be using it.
Okay, so as we predicted, he's thrown Thanos into Africa, but then now has decided to move Juggernaut into the center of the table. So he's looking to really try to eliminate the rest of Liam's team. Meanwhile, Rocket and Groot, as mid-table obscurity, had the same thought as you, which is that he's got 5 points up there, definitely scoring a point, but that's 5 points out of the table. But honestly, it feels like Morgan can afford to leave those 5 points up there at the moment.
Now this is a super aggressive play by Morgan, because that's going to be the end of the round, and Liam is going to have priority. And he is probably going first with Magneto, I would assume, and try to do a number on either of those 3 characters standing there. But then Morgan he's highly unlikely to take down more than possibly 1, and that then the possibility is there for Morgan to retaliate with the remaining 2 characters. So
okay,
Morgan putting the pressure on.
All right, Liam's put his second contract out, and it looks like he's put it in a place to try to make it harder for Morgan to try to put people there on that middle point. I thought he was going to
actually giving cover to Magneto against the Star-Lord attack, but I wouldn't be surprised to see magnetic refraction go up anyway. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's more of a placement issue. How much is his spender with the AOE attack? It's like 6, right? It's quite expensive.
Yes, and that doesn't generate power. then again, he doesn't really need that much power since isn't that much terrain on the table. But
Yeah.
he wants it to. He wants it for the defensive. His boosting defense and
Yeah. So it looks like he's putting
you're not going first.
Juggernaut. He's putting Juggernaut in a place so that he completely walling off that point. So now he gets the extra power. He's sitting on 3, and looks like he's going to do an attack. Thank you to the professional. Oops, sacrifice is being played.
Sacrifice.
Nice one.
There it is. Question is who the attack went into instead then?
How far away can you put the attack onto somebody with sacrifice?
It's within 2, so it's basically a bodyguard on a stick.
Yeah.
But there is a certain rule to this card that says that you cannot add additional dice to the defense roll, and that includes exploding crits.
Yep, cool. All right, Morgan's elected to put it on Hulk. He's saved well. Three saves.
And that was an abysmal attack roll by Liam.
Yeah. Oh well. And he's decided to play a magnetic refraction, which makes sense.
Now, it would have been spicy if he had used sacrifice onto Juggernaut, possibly generating 2 power on Juggernaut to put Indomitable online, because currently Liam can use Do You Know Who I Am on Morgan's Juggernaut, which he appears to be doing here. But if Juggernaut would have taken the attack and received 2 damage, generating 2 power, he could have played Indomitable to stop that.
Mm-hmm. Smart. Well, okay, so Morgan may have made a mistake there, is what you're saying. Interesting. All right, let's see if the Indomitable is actually going to happen. Or not the Indomitable. Do You Know Who I Am? That hasn't actually triggered yet. I agree, Blake. My Juggernaut attacks are never terribly good. For me, he's all about movement and pushing through stuff. Oh, wow. So he didn't play the card and has elected to let Juggernaut end his activation. Huh.
All right. Interesting. That's certainly not the activation that Liam wanted. And Star-Lord is still okay.
Oh, I need to start taking better notes like you do, Huggy. I want to ask Liam about that Thanos thing, attacking Star-Lord. All right. Who's okay? So it's Star-Lord attacking Thanos. It looks like.
Yep, and he's paid for the hit and run.
Gotcha. Okay. He's done. Ooh, nice. Four hits. Against two saves. With a mitigation, that should only be 1 point of damage going through. Sure enough.
Yep.
And the hit and run is he's getting the hell out of there. Interesting. He didn't take 2 attacks though before doing this.
He couldn't. He wasn't within 4 at the start of the activation.
Okay, thank you. Right. Okay, so he's just getting out of there after doing a bit more chip damage into Thanos. And I suppose that should be the end of the turn. Sure. Or activation. Okay. And so, question is whether Liam will pass or not. Who do you think? I mean, Magneto would be an obvious choice to activate next. Question is who would he attack?
Liam needs to do some passing at some point because he can end up in a very dangerous situation if Morgan can activate several characters in a row. And it appears that we saw a pass here because Morgan is now measuring again. Maybe I'm wrong though. It's Morgan's clock ticking.
Okay, yep. Good point. Ah, nice spot. Okay. So big questions now for Morgan to decide what to do about the situation, because again, there's not a lot of points on the table, so it's not like he can do a big scenario play here.
I mean, it appears that he has elected to go down the try and kill Thanos route. At least his moves so far has been witnessing indicating that. But
Oh,
it
nice.
hasn't gone. Oh,
Yeah.
teleporting Groot.
Yeah, he did a successful roll. I saw the roll, so I suspected it was a teleport. I didn't know who was doing it. But sure enough, it was Groot. And that means free attacks into Magneto. Love it. Which is
2
great
attacks.
because he can now just put Rocket on that point, and that's just 2 points out of the fight, which is fantastic.
Yes, that's certainly a possibility. Dangerous for Rocket to not stand next to Groot always, but then again, Liam needs to maintain a tight budget of actions, so branching out to squash a raccoon might not be affordable for him.
All right, Groot did 3 hits. Liam rolled poorly, only 1 save, but with
Ooh.
magnetic refraction, that goes down by 1 again, so he's only taken 1 hit point, luckily. And the second attack, 3 hits again. Good lord, Magneto not doing very good saves at all. So I think there should be another 3 hits. So that should put him on 4. Oh, refraction again.
Magnetic.
Yeah. So 3. So he's 3 out of 6.
And then he's Root.
Root. So that means all of those throws that Magneto would like to do, although there's not a lot of terrain around him, become that much harder.
Root on both Magneto and Juggernaut, it appears.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah, the power to spare.
That's annoying.
Yeah, tell me about it. I had somebody do that to my Hulk at the 2-day tournament here in the UK. He was a Guardians player, and he put that on there and had Loki on the table as well, and it just completely ruined my complete game. Oh, it was terrible.
All right, so Liam's clock ticking again. See if he considers another pass or if he.
Nope, Magneto just spent power, so he's throwing a car into Groot for some reason. It's interesting. All right. Morgan's saved quite well. So far, the dice haven't been favoring Liam at all.
Yeah, Groot is not really that big of a danger to him as things stand. He might become if he puts a ton of power on him so that he can We Are Groot next round.
I was told not to attack Groot if you can help it, because he just does so much with power and otherwise doesn't do much.
Maybe he's considering teleporting away from there after having done attacks, because it's quite dangerous for Magneto to. Oh, that's a ton of damage on Groot.
There you go. There's a nice spike. So that's 6 hits against 1 save. That should be 5 damage, right? No, 6 damage. Maybe there was damage goes through the first time around. I don't remember. But
interestingly, he has not put any attacks into Hulk so far. Maybe that's what we're gonna see now.
Yeah.
But maybe we're seeing already this early in the game an election by Liam to play around Hulk rather than trying to take him down. I don't know.
Okay, I was told the portal did the 1 damage extra that I couldn't account for onto Groot.
Yes, of course. And that is also a damage that doesn't generate power.
Mm-hmm. Because it comes from the crisis, not an enemy effect.
Yes.
So which is what I thought was going to happen. He's going to use his second attack, although it's kind of annoying that it's for just 1 hit point. He wants to daze Groot and not give power to the 2 characters that really like to use that power. Oh my goodness, that was a really crappy roll, but Magneto gets to re-roll it, which is a nice feature. Oh God, he didn't do it. Oh no.
I'm not sure that this is only bad for Liam, though, because if he dazed Groot there, then he would sort of would sort of have forced himself to take him down next round very early, unless he wanted to let Groot have a big activation into Magneto with his We Are Groot. He could even throw Juggernaut, I think, with that if he likes to. Um, if he hadn't attacked him at all, he would have only generated 1 power and would have had to do his normal strike, hoping for lucky dice, which is not that attractive since magnetic refraction would have been up. And now Groot has suddenly turned into a very dangerous being, but with only 1 damage to go, he could most likely daze him by throwing a size 2 at him early next round. So
Or,
maybe not all that bad that he survived.
I was just thinking that Juggernaut could also do his movement thing and just do the auto point of damage.
That is also a possibility for sure. Groot has already activated this round, so he's not exactly a threat at this point.
Sure, fair enough. Okay, Morgan's moved Rocket up into that point, as we suspected. Also gets, well, he always has cover, but he's behind that car. And so Liam has to decide whether to activate Thanos not or pass. This is Morgan's stick moving.
Appears that he passed. Question is if he can get Juggernaut in there, into that, squeeze him in there.
Into that point, yeah, interesting. Yep. Let me zoom in a little, see if that's at all clearer.
You get a 2-2 situation on the middle point. I would not at all be surprised to see a big attack into Magneto here from Juggernaut as well.
I think
he's also getting himself further away from Thanos.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like it'd be possible.
Yeah, the only thing that might that possibly could have put a wrench into it is the placement of Groot's and Magneto's base, and the fact that Juggernaut has a big base, but it looks kind of fine.
Yeah. I don't know if
not by a huge margin.
No, I was just gonna say. All right, it does look like it's clear, and the computer is showing that he's within 1. So wow, that is by millimeters that time. Whew. All right, that's good for Morgan. Yeah. Juggernaut attacking Thanos, Magneto.
Yeah, who has to pay 3 rather than 2 for his extra defense dice now, given Root.
Yep, but he's saved well. He's done 3 saves so far. Crit doesn't help him. But Juggernaut rolled well as well, 5, so that's 2 more damage going into Magneto. Oh, maybe the crit's
3,
still coming?
1. Give
Magnetic refraction. Yeah, okay. It's 5, 3, yeah. Okay. Magnetic refraction doing a great job. I'm going to start using that card.
Yeah, it was a card that wasn't that appreciated earlier, but with the addition of Rogue and Juggernaut, who are really tanky characters who are Brotherhood affiliated, the stocks go up, has certainly gone up, because now you can stack it with the incredible defensive capabilities of those new characters. Which is a force multiplier for that.
Okay. All right, so Liam's now moved Thanos with his gem. And is outside of 2, which is not what he wanted, I'm sure. Oh, but he's moving, sorry, thinking it the other way around. So now he's moved Hulk towards him, which is great, because now Hulk's out of the fight a bit. And
and he doesn't consider it an attractive option to attack Hulk, and that is also because Hulk has an awkward 2 power available to him currently, because he spent 1 power on sacrifice earlier this round, and then received no damage.
Yeah, right.
So now Thanos is going to rearrange the board, I would assume.
Yeah, so he's moved himself forward with his one action so far. And now the question is who moves around?
Looks as though he's aiming to finish off Groot.
Hmm. I heard a token being flipped or something. Not sure what's going on. No dice are being rolled.
The general reflection here is that we are approaching the end of round 2, but we have yet to see a single daze, and that is not a testament to things going well for Liam. He needs to get the pain train rolling if he is to grind Morgan down here. Because soon Morgan will start converting his strength in numbers into points.
All right, so Thanos moved Groot off the point in the first place, and now he's attacking him. He did, that's 4 hits and no save, so they didn't bother rolling the crit. And Groot is dazed. Now, what does Thanos do? Does he use the cosmic portals some more? Yes. Moving Juggernaut, the Morgan's Juggernaut off the point. And I feel like that should be it. And that leaves Morgan with just Hulk to go.
Yep.
Now, Liam has 2 people on the points, so unless Hulk gets up on that point and throws one of them away, Liam will be scoring. Oh, he's indicated he's putting on patch up. He's probably patching up Magneto?
Thanos.
He patched up somebody. Who spent the power, though? Was it Magneto?
It looked like Magneto spent the power to heal Thanos.
Yeah, okay, got it. So that is a brilliant... Well, again, this is the strategy. We were all worried about Liam losing Thanos early, but his whole plan is to keep Thanos running with all those amazing tactics cards.
So we'll see what Morgan is aiming for here.
All right, people. Big Blake is wondering why he didn't take the wild and throw Groot even further away. That's a good question. But maybe roster doctor suggesting that he wants him there so that he can, with priority next turn, KO him.
Yep. For sure. And so what Morgan needs to do to counter that is to put pressure on Liam elsewhere with Hulk, since that's his remaining model.
Okay.
And that's what we're seeing now.
Yep. So Hulk is thrown Thanos again away. Yeah. And now we'll attack him. All right, let's see if Hulk's got the big fists today. Remember, in the films, Thanos pretty easily beat the crap out of Hulk.
That's not a good
yeah.
attack roll.
Well, it's just like in the film.
Yeah.
1 hit, 1 save, 2 hits. 2 hits, and well, with the reflection and the invulnerable, no damage to Thanos, and that is the end of the round.
Yep.
Wow, Liam playing the
Huggy
game was just saying that Liam point ahead.
Liam pulling those points out is certainly key here for him. And we'll see how what's going to happen to Groot here.
All right, we've breached 69 viewers, Huggy Bear. So it's time for you to lose that top, as we promised the audience. you were going to get topless when we hit 69 viewers.
It's 75 viewers according to my view here. So sorry.
It's too late.
Some of you guys are going to have to leave in that case.
I don't know. Disappointed the fans.
deal was for exactly 69 years.
Uh-huh. I didn't read that contract correctly enough. I'm going to fix that for next season. All right, so Liam is starting round 3. He's up 2 points in victory points, and let's see, does he decide to take advantage of the priority? He is. He's moving Juggernaut forward a bit. I'm going to presume staying within 1. Looks like he's trying to do that anyway.
Question is if he wants to be within 1 and still within 2 of Hulk simultaneously.
Okay.
Yeah, so he generated the 2 power.
No, he's going after. He's going after Groot. Okay, so he slid. He did a power slide.
No, he advanced because he received 2 power for it.
Oh, okay, the other way around. Okay, cool. So he's going to do 1 attack into.
Yeah, and it could very well be the book beam because that's an energy attack.
Mm-hmm. And Groot's
that
terrible
still
at that.
Gets extra. Oof.
Oh, Liam. Oh, Liam. Tyson not been very kind to him today.
Yeah, that was obviously an energy attack, but oh man, no. Oh. So Groot's not going to go down here. And Morgan has Indomitable to stop that. Do you know who I am?
Mm-hmm.
So highly likely that we're seeing a staggered Magneto from We Are Groot, I'm Groot.
Yeah. This is disastrous. You know, this is exactly what people tell me all the time. Don't leave Groot on all that power.
He can actually do it to both Magneto and Juggernaut if he wants to. Juggernaut has a ton of power though, and he automatically shakes. Oh,
he's going to probably stagger Thanos.
Yeah, staggering Thanos.
Okay. Oh my God, Morgan.
Good luck though, but still, that's still 5 damage.
Oh
my word.
Oh, lordy.
Also, or is it the throw on a stagger on a wild? Is the stagger? The stagger is automatic, I think.
Yeah, it is. I think all of it's automatic.
Yeah, you're probably right.
8 minus 3, 5 points.
And correct, it's all automatic.
Just thinking though, 8. He did 8 hits, 2 saves, and then magnetic refraction and invulnerability should have been only 4 damage, right? Not 5.
8 versus 2 blocks and invulnerability is.
Yeah, he had magnetic refraction though too.
Yeah, but he was outside of 3.
Okay. He can't change. He had rolled 2 saves, so he couldn't. There was could have changed the hit. No refraction outside of 4. Oh, okay. Beg your pardon. Got it.
Refraction is outside of 3.
3.
It has reached 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Hulk.
So Liam's decided to activate Thanos straight away. He's portaled Hulk further towards him.
So the stagger token should be removed.
Yeah. He's moving himself first. All these are superpowers or gems, so it doesn't have to take the stagger off just yet.
There it goes.
Okay, question is, who does he attack? Groot. He's going to beam. He played Medpack on himself.
Mm-hmm.
I want to commend both Morgan and Liam for being fantastic with the tab key, making it so easy to follow what's going on here today.
Yeah, these guys are professionals.
They are professionals. So Thanos deciding who he's going to hit. Is he going to take out Groot, who's already gone? Oh, Groot's healed himself.
Yes. We're seeing... but he was at... No, he wasn't at full health. He took 2 damage earlier, but yeah.
sealed himself. I just noticed now Morgan doesn't have We Are Groot. I don't think he even took it in his roster at all. I think Liam's clearly not going to win the attrition game here. So it's all about control, which is so funny considering he's only got 3 characters.
I mean, the jury's still out, but he's currently pouring a lot of resources into taking out Groot, and Thanos is not going to go late this round since he's already activating, so he won't be able to teleport, rearrange the board in front of next round the way he did last round. But he could. So apparently he's not going to make any attacks, but he could teleport stuff around.
Yeah.
Like putting Hulk even further back to rob him of an action. Or he's possibly teleporting. That measure 5 from Rocket would indicate that he was considering teleporting his own Juggernaut out of harm's way, but
Hulk's been moved, so Hulk is.
That's correct. Sorry about that.
Okay, that's it for Thanos. He's decided to move himself into position, basically. Morgan's turn. Morgan getting his Juggernaut back into the action. This looks like a movement, I'd imagine.
Yeah, he has not too bad odds of taking Magneto down prior to activation, which is certainly a blow.
Yeah.
For Liam. Liam does not have the power, or was it spent? Can't see Jarvis. Did he spend power to? Did he spend 3 power to protect himself?
I don't know.
Or is it only 3 dice?
We'll see how many dice are thrown here.
We'll know soon enough.
Yeah. Ooh, God, another good hit from Juggernaut.
Ooh, there goes Mags.
Oh, God. He didn't have the power, as it turns out. He only threw 3 dice instead of 6. But I don't know. Oh, man. There's 2 types of Juggernauts on the table. There's Liam's dud Juggernaut, and then there's Morgan's monster Juggernaut. Now he's going to power slide himself onto the other side of the point. I presume he's going to stay within 1 to help put the scenario pressure on.
Looks like he's going to push himself into Liam's Juggernaut, forcing him to pay 2 power to negate that damage, given that he has Root on him. Or simply take the damage that comes automatically from having Juggernaut pushed into you.
Okay.
But Liam has no activations left.
Wow.
And Morgan is now going to have 3 activations. So,
yeah.
And I think that Rocket was. I'm not 100%, but I think Rocket was within 5 of Liam's Juggernaut.
Yeah. I saw him measuring, but I didn't catch whether it was connecting or not.
So it's time has come for Morgan to get a book and stop the points bleed to Liam, and Juggernaut is definitely the sitting duck here.
Yep, and he's in range. Rocket is such a bastard with that gun. And Star-Lord, too. He's going to be there. Oh, God.
Hulk could possibly get to within 2 of Juggernaut with a Gamma Leap there. Maybe just out. Probably just out.
Mm-hmm.
Hard eyeball. But at least 1 attack from Hulk is going into Juggernaut, I would expect.
All right.
Depending on how...
Oh, wow. So Rocket decided to use a portal. I suppose he was going to try to go to this bottom one. Yep, sure enough. He rolled a blank, though. So I think it was only a skull. Let me double check it. I was pretty sure it was only a skull that did the problem. If the result is a crit wild hit shield, place the character. Yeah. So it's blanks. You're right, blanks.
He's going for Thanos rather than Juggernaut. He does not want to take out Juggernaut. He wants to go for Thanos. Oh, what a... No hits.
No hits.
on
Okay.
the first attack.
Second attack.
Still no damage.
It's interesting. Liam got to move Rocket because Morgan did roll a blank. However, I don't think he wanted him in the center because that means that he would lose that center point. But he put him probably on the same point that Morgan wanted to go anyway. So there's like no repercussions for Morgan. And
the Star-Lord is likely going to
the
go
top
up
one
and score the yeah.
Yeah,
So
sure.
that would put the score at 3-3 unless an extract changes hands. No, scratch that. It would have mean 3-2 to Morgan because no one is scoring the middle last thing stand.
Yeah. Okay. I love the speed that this game is going forward on. I just was listening to Morgan on his podcast, Strike Better. Fantastic podcast for everybody to take a listen to if you want to play competitively. And he talked about how much he loves the clocks and is very grateful and would love to see them on the entire season, actually. And in fact, wanted the amount of time lowered. He felt that an hour each person would be plenty instead of an hour and 15.
Yeah, an hour 15 is certainly plenty of time.
Yeah, it's more than enough time, actually, really. I agree. I think an hour would have been fine just to move things along that much faster. I mean, just...
Looks like Morgan wants to throw Liam's Thanos out of magnetic refraction range.
Aha, gotcha. Smart. Do damage by throwing him into the building at the same time.
Unfortunately, it does not do damage
Oh,
for that
his
because it's
invulnerability.
negated by It's still a throw is still an enemy effect.
Yeah, fair enough.
Collateral damage from a throw. Collision damage from a throw.
Collision damage, yeah. Okay.
Bonk. But still, it's going to be 2 attacks. No, did advance. Oh.
All right, let's see how it does this time. Mediocre hit again. 3, that at least gets the wild, which is probably more important here.
Yeah, that was a winging token being rolled.
Oh, right, okay. Still looks
so
like...
he does have a push on his wild.
Yeah, 3 hits, including that push, against effectively 2 saves. So Thanos will take 1 point of damage and get pushed. Which is probably what Liam wants.
Not sure if
Morgan
Rocket
wants.
is liking this.
Yeah, okay. All right. And I'm going to presume now Star-Lord just goes and takes that top point. Take a quick look. Star-Lord
Assumably, yes.
Being the big
Possibly
boss.
after doing a hit and run into
Juggernaut.
Possibly Juggernaut, or he just doesn't bother.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just gives him more power. Still debating. Oh.
Indomitable was played. Yes. This deserves a comment because even though Liam didn't have any activations, he still has turn.
Right.
And since Do You Know Who I Am is can be played out of activation,
yes.
He now before Star-Lord's activation tried to throw Morgan's Juggernaut off, but it was negated by Indomitable.
Right. Brilliant. That is something that trips people up all the time. Newer players, that is, because it seems counterintuitive. But yes, that is 100% legal, and it just occurred to me as I saw those cards flip. So thank you, Huggy, for pointing it out to everyone. You're right, though. He's doing the hit and run against Juggernaut, getting those cheeky hits in. Done well. 4 hits so far. No saves. Oh, Liam.
And Liam does not have the power on Juggernaut to negate the damage. So that's 5 damage straight into...
Jeez.
Oh my god. No. A magnetic refraction brings it down. But...
Yeah.
Why isn't that...
Did he not have the power to do How much is it? Damage mitigation? Just
he
one.
had 1 power, but he has root.
Oh, right. Maybe they forgot root. I thought he had more power than that, though. I thought he had 4. Anyhow. So that is the end of round 3, and as we said, Morgan is able to narrow the gap to just 1 point behind Liam. Score is 8 Liam to Morgan 7. Liam now has priority, and we have to see what he decides to do. That means Magneto loses that root, which is quite welcome, I'm sure.
For sure. And also has 8 damage points rather than 6, which makes him really hard to one-shot.
Yeah, I don't think anything else changes on him other than that, right? On his backside. So, question is what does Liam activate first? Maybe he gets Magneto to take out Juggernaut. All right. Oh, I think I hear.
Apparently, the Morgan there was a misroll. Morgan did not roll 5 hits because he thought he had a winging a token, but then realized he didn't.
Oh.
So that was actually 3 hits, not 5.
Okay, thank you. So Liam, I heard him roll 1 die, and sure enough, he's decided to have Magneto go all the way to the far portal where Star-Lord is.
Yep.
So again, I think he's about points, not killing things. Sorry, Big Blake.
Yeah, because he hasn't killed things fast enough, so points is his way out here.
Yeah.
Question is though if he's going to manage to pull that one out with Morgan having a wider team.
Not with that hit. Jeez. God, Liam.
Oh.
Liam's dice have been terrible.
That's
a little bit better.
I mean, he's still gonna take Star-Lord down, I presume.
Yeah. Star-Lord's on 5 hit points out of 6, and Liam has 1 more attack to go.
But if Magneto picks up the book from Star-Lord, then maybe this will be a game where we're not seeing Asteroid M being played at all.
Mm-hmm. Right. At this point, he needs it. He needs those points. Those sweet, sweet victory points. Good Lord. If it wasn't for the rerolls, Liam would be in bad shape.
Why was he only rolling? Yeah.
Oh my God!
Oh man!
This is ridiculous.
That's oh my God!
So now he's got to throw. It looks like a hot dog stand.
Effectively, it's. I mean, unless we see a ridiculous dodge roll here.
Morgan's been pulling it out though. Oh, he's got brace. He's got brace.
He's got brace.
So he's gonna have to throw it.
Magneto has more power to go, so he has at least 1 more throw.
Yeah.
But still,
I know. Assume he's going to throw brace. Morgan, not. Here it comes.
I think Morgan is. Morgan's time is ticking now, so he's. Yep, there's the brace.
Yeah, sure enough. Okay, now the other car has to come in.
Forcing Magneto to go down to 1 power.
I think is okay. Of course, the portals could portal somebody over there.
That's
oh my God! Oh man, that was. Oh my goodness, was that close?
Could he use Plucky Attitude here, or is that only defense and attack rolls?
Yes, yeah. And he's going to blow that last. Luckily, he has it. He has to blow that last power to pick up that book. Oh man!
That was,
Oh.
A maximum effort from Magneto wasn't necessary to do 3 damage to Star-Lord. That's
Oh,
how will Morgan respond? There is Morgan has field dressing, and a Star-Lord with a huge pile of power is nothing to be sneezed at.
So apparently, you can use winging tokens on dodges. I think that's right. I remember playing.
Yeah. That's
true. But he didn't have one, or he used it. So
he didn't have one. No.
Yeah, I don't think Morgan expected Liam to go after Star-Lord. Maybe with the portal. What's nice is that the portal would have been fine even if he failed either way, because he would have had to either go to Rocket or Star-Lord. I suppose Star-Lord's better, though, because the Star-Lord has the book. But yeah. All right, I think Morgan is looking to activate Rocket into Thanos.
Possibly so. Thanos is unprotected.
All right, yep. Sure enough. Okay, let's see what Rocket can pull out of the bag. Rocket does do yeah, there you go. 3 hits, not bad.
Normal attack.
Yeah.
3 hits, not bad. But that's already all blocked.
All blocked, yep. So second attack.
Thanos with the reality gem is so tough to take down. Those extra crits from skulls is...
So he's only rolled 2 hits there. I think Liam's escaped any damage. And that happens with Rocket. Or is it? I think another. Oh, he's decided to portal himself. And he failed. So Liam gets to choose.
Yep.
People are asking about big events coming up. You want to talk about your events in October?
Yeah, Malmo Wargaming Weekend, 22nd, 23rd of October in Malmo. It's unfortunately only 24 spots, but it's going to be a 2-day event of 7 games. And we are certainly expecting to fill up those spots to convince the organizers to let us have more for next year. It's a big con, several hundred players, with a big 40K and Age of Sigmar tournaments, along with a couple of other games at a hotel very close to Copenhagen Airport, but on the other side of the water, so to speak. So it's really, really easy to get to.
Yes.
And it would be really nice to see a couple of international guests, for sure.
Yeah, and you have a nice pod
it's
system.
Probably easier to get to than most British tournaments.
Yes.
For someone living in London.
Yeah, 100%. I've done it many times, and it's super easy. And you have an interesting thing, right, where everybody goes plays on Saturday, but then the people who I think it's a top 8 that goes into Sunday, and the rest of the folks go into pods. So there's always a
correct. So it's going to be a 4 games on the Saturday to create, and then top 8 is going to move into a cut, and then the remaining 16 players is going to be cut into 2 other separate 8-man pods for the second day.
Yeah.
So even if you don't make the cut, you still have a chance of winning something.
Cool. So to catch everybody up, Rocket did both attacks into Thanos, did not do any damage, and then he decided to portal himself, or I think he failed, and so Liam decided to put him on the top portal. And now Morgan is... then Liam got to go.
Liam.
Yeah. And so
Liam's Juggernaut is...
he power slid into Rocket to do the automatic final point of damage to daze him.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, so how do people get tickets to your event? Let's seal it off.
There is a homepage where you can buy tickets, and it's linked on the Swedish MCP homepage, Facebook page, as well as the general Marvel Crisis Protocol homepage. And if you're interested and can't find it, hit me up and I will provide you with information.
Thanks, Huggy Bear. All right, so Morgan's elected to move his Juggernaut via portal. He successfully did it, no damage, and so now the action is shifting to the top of the table. So we have a dazed Star-Lord and Rocket around that point. Liam's Juggernaut didn't do anything but move forward and daze Rocket. And now Juggernaut will have 2 attacks into Magneto, who does not have power to do this extra damage defense dice. Did not roll well. He rolled 1. Oh, God. Morgan. My lord. Oh, my God.
Ooh.
What is going on? What is going on? He's got some big Blake type of rolls today. Oh God.
This means,
Yeah,
yeah,
roster doctor. I thought the same thing. I didn't understand why Juggernauts.
that's okay. Oh, dice not in Liam's favor today, but yeah, that is a big swing.
Yeah, I think that's game, honestly. But why didn't Liam's Juggernaut move a second time and go on to that point? Is the question. I am confused as well.
Thing is, Magneto had a price on his head anyway because there would probably have been a field dressing on Star-Lord there, and then a double full auto into him. So there were a ton of resources that Morgan could pour into Magneto, even without that dice roll.
Yeah, and he even uses winging a token.
Yeah.
It's pathetic. I think this is game.
So yes, that would certainly that might certainly be the case.
This is the problem with tall lists. You know, you can't play a scenario game late. You just start losing characters, and so you just don't have enough bodies to hold points or pick up stuff.
Yes, and there's also the fact that the way dice works in this game, rolls like that they happen, and rolls are being fluffed as well now and then. So
To be honest, this is why I'm not a fan of tall lists. I feel like there's a lot of power and potential in those characters, but action economy is a real thing in this game. And just having lots of actions, it feels better to me. That's why I like my Sin 7 list so much. Is that none of the characters alone were terribly scary, but collectively, they just poured out so much activity in terms of either damage or picking up stuff or moving on to points and things.
Yep.
So I don't know, but the meta
activation redundancy, but it's amazing how both play styles are viable. But we've certainly seen a spiking in popularity of tall lists this season.
Yeah, roster doctor saying some tall lists have a lot of action economy through their superpowers and things, and Thanos is a good example. He can do so many different things. But you know,
for sure, and that's more or less that's necessary for it to be more attractive than other options.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. So Thanos moved on to the point. He's now moving Groot further away from the action. And I'm going to presume just sit there. No, he's going to move again and get even further away from those people.
Did Morgan forget to put a activated token on his Juggernaut?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Too excited. So this means I'm trying to do the maths now. Liam will get 2 points.
3, because he still has a book on his Juggernaut.
Okay, 3.
As things stand. Morgan still, because the Liam's Juggernaut is not within 1 of the point, right? The northern point.
No, he's not. Oh, Asteroid M. Oh well.
Yeah, he flipped it because it's no longer playable.
Yeah, sure.
Because there's only 1 affiliated Brotherhood character on the table. Here comes Hulk. Probably too far away to throw Thanos off the point, and he can't afford. He can't afford both Gamma Leap and the throw. So he can just move up and
block the scoring.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I think that's perfectly acceptable right now.
And I mean, as scary as Thanos is, he's not taking down a Hulk in 1 activation.
Not especially not with Liam's dice today. Right. So that means Groot is
Groot
very likely.
making some final adjustments to the board.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Taking this to a 3-2 to Morgan, if I'm not miscalculated.
So it ties up the score then, doesn't it?
So, yeah, 10-10.
10-10. Round 4.
No, yes, 10-10.
And he's put the tick mark on his Juggernaut, so that should make the computer understand what's happening when they clean up the turn.
Field dressing.
Ah, field dressing.
So the turn is not over.
Yeah, nice one.
So here goes some attacks into Jugs. We might see.
What is it, Star-Lord? Yeah, Star-Lord.
Yeah, I don't. He rolled 7 dice, so apparently he's using full auto, but he didn't spend the power for it. Possibly that's coming. That's 2 conditions on Juggernaut.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, so shock. Yeah.
And a bleed. There's he spent the power.
But no damage.
Yeah, well, probably better. I mean, it would have been nice to have, but the conditions are really key. His second attack coming in. Also Spender, another condition.
Yeah.
And he takes 1 damage. Oh, that was a hit and run, sorry. Yeah.
Yep. He's placing himself at an angle where it's hard for Liam's Juggernaut to automatically daze him with a push next round.
Yeah.
The unstoppable force push.
All right. End of the round.
Indeed. So that did not change the scoring?
No.
So still 10-10.
10-10. Round 5. Going into round 5. All right.
So now there is going to be a real strain on Liam's action economy. The question is, can he pull out? I mean, because there are only 2 turns left, and we're not going to see any wipeouts here. No total annihilations. So if he can pull out 1 round where he has the lead by going really late with Thanos and rearranging the board, and then just evening out the score on 1 round, it's gonna be tough. But just chasing cars for Liam here. It's without Magneto. It's really, really tough. But he has to. I mean, it's the finals. You have to find. You have to try and visualize some sort of path to victory here.
Yeah, exactly. Don't give up hope. MCP swings so greatly. People need to finish their games.
My guess would be that he would do a ton of passing and hope for some unsatisfying dice on Morgan's behalf, but it appears that is not what he's doing, since he's now activating Jugs.
Yeah, it looks like he's moved Jugs, but kept him within 3 of Morgan's Jug.
Yeah.
This is Morgan. I'm confused. What's happened here?
He's probably using the book name.
Oh, the book, of course.
But not sure why he rolled so few dice.
Shock.
Yeah, but it should still be something like 7 dice. Or even 8.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. That's more like it. Nice roll.
Yeah, there's the 8 dice.
Yeah.
And he's going to catch Rocket in that beam as well, I would assume.
Yeah. That's probably what was the first one, was Rocket.
No, the Rocket would only have 2 dice, I think.
Yeah, no. It happened when I was confused what was going on. I think it was when he was doing the attack into Rocket. And so now this is the attack into Juggernaut, who's taken 3 damage. Liam rolling poorly. And now power sliding, I'd imagine. Just trying to stay alive.
Running away, trying to stay alive with that objective. Still going to take a damage from the lead.
Yeah. Which he can't mitigate, again, because it's not an enemy effect, right? Or can he? Because it's any effect.
Right.
Does it say enemy?
I think his ability is whenever he takes damage, so he could actually mitigate that.
Yep, that's right. Doesn't say enemy, just whenever he would suffer damage. So that's fine. Just to spend a power. Oh, first bit of dice might have been Rocket's tricks and traps. That is a good call. Ooh, and he's outside of 5. Nicely done, Juggernaut. So Rocket's going to probably move to within 5. Just start pouring the damage into Juggernaut as best he can. Juggernaut sitting on 5 out of 8. Not great. Rocket is so notorious for spiking.
Yep.
No, it's okay. 3 hits, but no saves. He'll spend 1 and still have to take 2.
Yep.
Keeps him alive. He's on 1. And question is now, does Thanos go? Yes, Thanos is going. He's portaling himself forward. And, ooh, is he within 4? It looks like it, yeah. Wow, nice. Portal's Groot forward. He does not like Groot.
Not at all.
And he's attacking him.
So early activations from Liam.
Solid hit. 3 crits.
Yeah.
Let's see what those crits do for him. A little bit more. So 6 into 1 save. So 5 damage.
Yeah. Not
bad.
bad.
Not bad. He could take him down. But he's outside of 2. So does he spend again? Because he's a spender, right? For 3? Or is it, that was the book? Keep forgetting about the book.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
That was the book. Because he doesn't have a 3 attack, does he? No, he does.
He does.
Cosmic Blast.
So that's what we're.
Yeah.
What I'm expecting now.
Which is energy too, so that's convenient.
Indeed. So Groot has.
Oh dear.
Yeah. He has a winging it token, but it's not going to be enough since he rolled a skull. He can't survive.
Nice.
Oh yes, he can, because he had 2 damage left.
Yeah.
Now that's and there was the skull as well. So.
Yeah. All right. That's knocked out. Okay.
No more Groot.
All right. Thanos, the violence Thanos in action there with his reality gem.
So currently, as things stand, there are 2 points in Liam's hand. So Morgan could basically just move characters onto points and score 4.
Why is Hulk?
Right.
Why did Hulk? Oh, Thanos moved him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but he's gonna jump back now. So Morgan is in position to score at least 4 this round, and that's probably not. That probably won't be possible for Liam to make back in round 6. If Hulk spikes here, Thanos could go down as well and drop his book, but that seems unlikely. But the winging a token certainly helps there.
Yeah.
So that's what, 3?
Gosh, another good hit for Morgan.
3 damage. Yeah.
Golly.
And that was the winging a token.
Okay.
I think he has. I think he still has 1 attack.
Okay. Thanos on 5 out of 8 hit points.
And he has. Because he did Gamma Leap and then 1 attack. Question is, we did not see the force cost 4 points spent for Hulk Smash, so this is a normal attack.
Okay. 4 hits. Decent number of saves. Yeah, blocked. Yeah, everything. Okay. Hulk gonna throw him. Does he have power? Yeah.
Yeah, into oblivion.
Yeah, off to Africa. Oops. Picking up the wrong dude.
And Liam's Juggernaut, being on only 1 damage, is in real danger for next round.
Mm-hmm.
So this is looking
really grim.
Yeah. At this point, it would be a utterly sensational if Liam would somehow turn this around. I really can't see any way.
He just can't get into the action.
Way. No.
None of his guys are going to be in the action. You know.
And I think this comes down to, Morgan has had several turns where he was able to do several activations in a row and get good results points-wise, and that is all thanks to his number of activations, which Liam was unsuccessful in reducing early game.
Right.
Getting those dazes and KOs in early. Partially because of dice, and partially because of clever positioning from Morgan, making it hard for him to get a hold of the squishier characters. Because activation timing is a thing. If you manage to take out the enemy, the opponent's weak characters, then they will have fewer activations to go and will be forced to move their important pieces, possibly at disadvantageous points in time.
Yeah. Do you think it's worth piling in all your activations into one tall character versus trying to wipe out lots of little ones?
It comes down to playstyle. Both playstyles are viable, but the margin of error is certainly smaller with tall builds.
Right, because you're saying if you pile a lot of attacks into him, they're likely to flub some defense rolls. Whereas if you have lots of spread out attacks, it's more likely there's lots more defense rolls, and so all those little characters might have a better chance of surviving.
Basically, more attacks, more better.
Yeah. Okay.
Since there's always the chance for spikes.
So no, what I'm trying to ask is if you're going into an opponent who has one big character but lots of little ones, Is your preference to go after the one big one, have everybody go into him, try to take that one off the table, or to try to wipe out all the little ones that are easier to take care of?
Hard to give a generic answer to that because it comes down to positioning a whole lot. And it comes down to who the big character is. If it's Thanos with a reality, if it's Thanos in Guardians with a winging and tokens and a reality gem, then it's really tough to kill him, and a bit unlucky dice can really stop that from happening. So in that setup, I would probably go for killing the small characters and make sure that Thanos is not allowed to go last and use his control. But most of the time, I would say the answer is to try and kill Thanos no matter what. And that is what we saw Morgan try to achieve earlier this game, but didn't work, given due to Liam healing him twice and making good use of magnetic refraction at times. I think that's usually the line of play, given that how powerful Portals is. If you let Thanos activate late in the round, then he can undo a ton of positioning. And this is a game about a lot of this game is about positioning, so that it's easy to see how powerful that is.
Yeah. So that was a trick.
As I was saying, sometimes you also need to have the firepower to bring him down. And if you don't, then messing with the opponent's activation timing by taking out cheaper characters might be the way to go.
Okay. That was a tricks and traps roll earlier, but it didn't do any damage, which was lucky for Liam.
Oh, that would have been fun, but Liam easily has the power to negate that.
And that's Rocket off the table. The one big hit Liam gets against Rocket.
Roadkill.
Yeah. That was pathetic.
Does he have the power to push him? Yeah, he should be able to push himself into Star-Lord and take him out as well.
Oh, nice.
Interesting. But can he be on the point?
Yeah, do that. Yeah, I don't know.
Simultaneously, or maybe he has enough power to push himself into Star-Lord and then again back to the point.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he won't be able to pick up that.
He only has one more push. I'm looking at the wrong Juggernaut.
Oh, okay.
Apologies.
Yeah.
So looks that even looks far for one push.
Yeah. No, he's calling it a day. Star-Lord will take him out now.
He certainly has the odds are certainly in his favor, I'd say.
Yeah.
To get one damage through across 2 attacks.
3 hits. He's rolling in 2 crits. I rolled another hit in, so that's 4 hits against 3, effectively 3 defense.
Yeah.
So
there goes Jugs.
And there goes the book.
And now Star-Lord can comfortably
pick it up.
No, he's already carrying a. No, he lost his book.
He lost his book.
So
I think it was that book, actually.
That's true.
So Thanos up next.
Thanos could possibly teleport over to Star-Lord and take him out if he wants to, but that would not do enough for scoring, I think, because Liam needs to score 4, which is
impossible.
Theoretically and literally impossible, whereas Morgan only needs to score 2, and he already has that with Juggernaut on the middle point.
Rough Turtle, he lost it because what happened afterwards is that he got field dressing.
So unless Juggernaut is somehow one-shot by a Thanos attack here, the game is effectively over.
Yeah.
And even then, it's over because he's not gonna take out both Star-Lord and Juggernaut.
Right.
So this is
just for style points.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a season 7 champion.
Yeah, and repeat. He manages to match the only other person who managed to repeat win, which is Pat Denford.
Yeah, and I correct me if I'm wrong, but Pat's 2 wins were not in consecutive order.
I don't think so. No.
No.
Don't think so.
But Morgan has won twice in a row now.
Yeah, twice in a row.
So,
amazing work.
Certainly a very impressive feat.
Yeah. Yeah. And did it in these very quick games. Well, relatively quick games. Let's say normal length games. So,
yeah,
fantastic work for Morgan, altering his playstyle.
Reigning and defending.
He did manage to take out Juggernaut though, and lost the book. Yeah.
Turning up the heat.
I know it's a little late, but hey, okay. He's showing a little life left.
Yep.
So he'll score 1 point via his book to go to 13. But I think, let's see if they're going to play it out. Just Hulk needs to go. He's just going to move on to that point. So that would give him, I'm talking about Morgan now, he'd give him 1, 2, 3 points altogether.
They're playing it out.
Yeah.
Maybe Hulk rolls for the teleport. That would be... Yeah, he's teleporting. He is gonna kill that Thanos. Or at least give it a shot.
Oh, did he teleport?
Yep.
Amazing. There's some style points. Ooh, nice hit.
You're not getting any points, Liam. Oh.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits so far. 6 hits. 6 hits into effectively 2 saves is 4 points of damage, and he also knocks out Thanos.
If you keep pouring attacks into the same character, eventually that's what's going to happen.
So that makes the score 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 to 12. 18 to 12. Amazing. All right.
Morgan ends in style. But kudos to Liam for being very innovative with his list and reaching this far in the TTS season.
Absolutely. How about we go over?
The first time I see him in the cut. Yeah.
Yeah. How about we go over and have a chat with them?
Let's do that.
All right. Porting myself over to their channel. Where are they hiding? There we are. Hello, everyone.
It's hey.
Great game, you two. Thank you both again for being gracious enough to allow us to stream it. We had a really great crowd, lots of interested parties from literally all over the United States, which was amazing, in addition to the Australian and UK home crowds. So thank you again to both of you. Huggy and I wanted to ask a few questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, go crazy.
Okay, great. So let's first of all congratulate Morgan. Well done. Exciting to have you win not only a second, which is a rare feat, a second season, but also doing it back to back. So congratulations for that major win.
Oh, thanks, Norbs. It's very kind of you, and extremely fortunate to be able to. I mean, to win one is no small feat of luck to get matchups and dice and blah blah. But to do it twice is that's pretty unbelievable, I've got to be honest. So I've been very fortunate. But thank you. Yeah, and I just want to say before all the other questions, just to Liam, fantastic game, mate. Well done on making the final in your second season. That's an amazing achievement and something to be really proud of. And I wish I could be that good after such a small amount of time of MCP. I look forward to you getting revenge on all of us probably next season.
Thank you, and again, chance to say congratulations, Morgan, on the win. It's and being the season seven champion. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, Liam, let's talk. It looks like you've got a set of crises and also a threat value that you seem to have favored in the past. Is that correct, or did you want something else going into the kind of roster that Morgan was bringing?
Yeah, 19. I like the 19 because I get to play the three big boys, which does cause quite a lot of problems for people. It's hard to think. Morgan had a great list for it because he had obviously Hulk being able to, wasn't doing any damage, but he was able to just consistently use pushes and throws to take Thanos out of Death Decree ranges so that Magneto wasn't doing as much with his attacks, really.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Okay.
Yeah, no, I like the C's or the E's, and then this one's good as well because Montesi, there's only 3 objectives. I only have 3 characters,
Right.
so it's there's not more on the table than I can control.
Yeah, we thought that you would like this because it's a very slow scoring, very low number of points to go after, and so you tend to have wanted to control and also try to out attrition your opponents. Was that your basic game plan this time as well?
Yeah, as early on I just had the 1 point up on Morgan.
Yeah.
But there was a turn he came back on me, and then obviously he got 2 up on me, and then we drawed at 10. If I was lucky to continue my survivability and just keep that 1 point ahead, obviously it's I don't think I would have got to 16 just by how much damage he was doing, like turn 3 onwards. But
Yeah.
I would have just been maybe a point ahead, which was the aim.
Yeah, and it looked like it was paying off for you initially, but then there were some turns there where you had taken quite a bit of damage that you didn't appreciate. Let me take you back to turn 1. One of the most interesting plays that you made was when you moved Jug straight up onto the front point and took that spell book. Rather than moving back, you elected to stay there. Can you talk to us a bit about that decision?
It would just be a 3 point to Morgan at that point because I'm not shifting Hulk off of it if he wants to move Hulk or Jugs onto it, and he has Indom, which obviously just shuts off my "Do you know who I am" in this matchup, as it did when it was played. He might have taken the bait, done some damage to Juggernaut, and then give me a couple of powers so I could Asteroid M in turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't, which was the smarter play, and he probably saw it come. Looking at the table, he saw it. It's quite obvious a common thing to do. It just meant that, like I said, I would have 2 books on 1 point, and if he was unable to get all the other 2 points or the middle, I would be up a point and start that. Or if he just got the book and didn't go to the points, I'd be up 2, which would be a stronger lead.
Right. Okay. So, because that was the other play, you picked up the book, and that meant that you didn't have enough power to Asteroid M Magneto straight away, round 1. So, again, was this because your plan wasn't really to do attrition, but rather just to stay a point ahead each time?
Yeah, it was just a more control. Once I saw Hulk and Juggernaut coming down, it's a very hard attrition matchup unless he feeds them to me. So, like, he moves in, does something, it doesn't do enough. I then get to do 2 swings on mags and throw 2 to 3 things into them. If I was able to get Hulk turn 1, if he moved him where he actually did damage to Juggernaut, give him 2 power. If I'm able to double tap into him with a Death's Decree and then double tap into him again at the start of the next turn, it is quite a lot of damage into him, and it just matters if he dice at that point as it is. It's what the matchup is, I feel.
Yeah. You're trying to avoid
Would
that.
you say that your pivot to more of a points focus was something that grew out of the positioning of round 1, or was it on top of your mind during deployment?
Yeah, it was during deployment. Well, I always can, because I've got quite a good amount of movement, I can always deploy quite central and then spread out. Like, if he leaves someone out on a flank that's like he did with, obviously, he went with Groot, and then I can't really do a lot of damage to Groot unless he's in range 2 of me with Magneto. The books make intrusions a lot harder just because dropping them, they're actually really good objectives to hold because they give you a good attack.
Mm-hmm.
definitely this matchup to both of us. I think energy attacks are two things we don't really like taking a lot of, and you kind of just want to hold that, like you say, just hold that control of just the points, really, controlling where they are on the table. Because, like you say, he has to then, if he holds one book and he holds the two sides while I've got like 3 characters in the middle, it's 3 points to 3 points. But then those 2 characters, other than Rocket, they aren't doing anything on the flanks because they don't have range to attack the middle.
Cool. Turn 2, you seem to prioritize taking down Groot, which of course gives him power, which enables him to do a lot of his shenanigans. So what were you thinking about prioritizing him?
Prioritizing was if I could get him, which I think I'm fortunate not to get him in the swings with mags into him and throwing some stuff into him. Just turns off that stagger for a turn. Or what he did was root everyone and then heal himself a little bit, which is the difficult thing to deal with. Unfortunately, Mags didn't have a book on him, because if Mags didn't have the book, it's a lot easier for a beam and then a reverse polarity into him would have hopefully done a bit more damage.
Yeah. Okay, one last question. Maybe I'll turn it over to Huggy if he's got any for you. Turn 4, you moved Juggernaut up towards the top of the screen, or I guess to your right, to take out Rocket, who had only 1 point. Yeah, we're not sure, but we thought you still had another action that you might have then moved further up to block that point. Is that incorrect? Did we misunderstand?
Yeah, no, so he was here, wasn't he? And then Rocket was there.
Yeah.
The idea was that if Morgan moved Jugs once, he would have then, it would have been more difficult for him to double bump to get to Mags. But obviously, he didn't have a book on him, so he was able to just portal to get to Magneto. The idea was to stop him being able to move bump once, maybe twice, and then getting into Mags. So you would have hopefully lost the bump into Mags for damage, because obviously I felt that leaving him here was blocking that objective a bit more. But then
I think you should the route though. That was your play, which I thought was quite smart. So I think your action was
yeah, because it just meant that I was able to block 2 hits coming into him again, because he had 2 power left, I think, at that time, and it meant that I wasn't spending a stupid amount of power. So yes, as Morgan points out, I did have a play there, but it was, end of the day, I would have always not moved again, because I was trying to use it to block up. But forgetting Juggernaut wasn't the one with the book, and he was able to portal up and
okay, now we got
one-shot Mags.
Yeah. I mean, look, everybody clearly played extremely well. I'm not going to take anything away at all, but it has to be said that Morgan had some incredible dice rolls at some key points.
I think I did as well, as much as Morgan did. I think there was that one time where I went into Groot, I think, with Thanos there and just deleted him.
Yeah, definitely. But I think yours dice turned on, unfortunately, after the game swung Morgan's way, which wasn't helpful. Huggy, do you have anything for Liam?
I do. I have a couple of questions that sort of touches on the both of you. So Morgan, feel free to comment as well. Now, my first question, Liam, was about your expectations for Morgan's team, because I have heard Morgan talk at length in his excellent podcast Strike Better about Thanos being a hard counter to Thanos, which would at least in my expectation would indicate that he would have picked Thanos in this game to counter your Thanos, and but going wider. Were you expecting that? And Morgan, was that something that you were considering?
You go first, Liam, if you like.
Yeah, sure. I didn't think he was going to take Thanos due to the way the mission is. I think for his Thanos, the Mind in Space is good, but having him to have to go kind of last, I think, Morgan, it would mean that I have the ability to hit your other pieces a bit earlier, and then yes, Thanos is one piece for you, but you don't have the healing cards maybe to keep him around because you've got Brace and Field Dress, and you don't have the ability to like med pack him or patch him up, because if he does get a swinged attack from, as I don't know if you watch my game with Rich, but if I do dice spike into him and he does take like 6-7 damage, he's obviously at a really bad place to just be damaged. I think the Hulk is a better answer if I'm not playing Mind Gem, because I'm not staggering him. Because obviously that's what Mind Gem is to Hulk. It's a stagger. He has to move and portal back in, because he can just Gamma Launch to ignore my portal. He still gets his 2 actions. I think that's kind of where I was. I wasn't expecting Juggernaut, though. I thought you were going to maybe go a bit wider than. I thought you were going to go with Quicksilver and Nebula, just so you've got like that assassin piece, because you can't really on this table go anywhere that's not on an objective once we're kind of in it. And Quicksilver would be able to steal one of my books and just walk to the corner of the table, and I probably wouldn't catch him other than Juggernaut.
Yeah, pretty good comments there, Liam. I think a good summary. I suppose a point of clarification, and maybe I've messaged this poorly. I think taking Thanos is a hard counter to Black Order, and I think he's a mitigation that's situational against other sort of big beta teams. But the problem with Liam's, and this is a beautiful attrition roster Liam's got, the problem with Liam's 3 wide here is if I take Thanos, I don't have any real punching power into Refraction and Reality Gem on such a narrow shape. On a B shape, I'd be happy to take Thanos to do some control, but on the C shape, it's too central. So if I took Thanos and Quicksilver at 19, I've got 4 potatoes who hit like noodles, and he's got these huge 3 hitters that will slowly delete them. And my Thanos is playing a really dangerous game because I have to activate him last, or he can do a Asteroid M with Juggernaut's big movement, or Thanos can sort of move into a position that I don't want to be, and then he's got huge attrition potential with Death Decree and Magneto to daze and KO, like we saw in Rich's game. That the Thanos plays a really dangerous game. So I think it's a hard counter to Black Order because they're a one trick with the mothership, and then you're just displacing Corvus the whole time. And if you're displacing Corvus the whole time with what I think is the Mind Gem, which I prefer in the style I play, there's no right or wrong, but you're double displacing Corvus. And that's how Black Order function. Thanos does the control and Corvus does the murder. You remove one of those components from Black Order and the game plan falls apart. But you circle back to this beautiful attrition squad of Liam's that all 3 are almost independent, fantastic hitters themselves. And his team's not relying on one in particular to do a whole bunch of work. He just needs one of them to shine. So Thanos can really control maybe 1, maybe 2 in later rounds, but I can't control all 3 of them. And in the meantime, he's going to beat my other little guys to death and probably get after Thanos at an opportune moment. So my assessment is that in a different scenario, I think he might be a better piece. But in this scenario, as Liam articulated before, by taking Hulk and Juggernaut, they're 2 really big threats. And if I keep them up in his face, he's got a problem of how do I deal with these 2 big hitters whilst his little minions score points? Like, how do I split my time? So that's kind of my view on that, I suppose, if that answers your question. And apologies that it was too long.
Absolutely, it's very interesting to hear your thoughts on it, and I can certainly see. And another aspect to it is that Liam has Reality Gem on his Thanos, whereas you have Mind Gem, which would make Liam's Thanos favored other than priority management in a one-on-one battle between the Thanoses.
Exactly. Look, I think if he didn't have Refraction, Thanos would be more appealing for his ability to bring Death Decree to the Guardians. But Refraction is a really strong card when you can orbit guarantee priority like Liam can on a central crisis like this one.
Was that also the explanation to your quite spectacular series of moves round 1, where you double throwed Liam's Thanos back into your own lines?
Yeah, it is. That's so well. It was twofold. Primarily, it was to stop a Death Decree on Magneto. I mean, again, the beauty of this squad is that Magneto is one of the hardest hitters in the game. Now, you add a Death Decree to that, and he's off the charts. So my priorities for this game to try and pick Liam's beaters apart, there's a whole bunch of things, but one of the big ones was deny Death's Decree as much as physically possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so the throwing and displacement was a huge part of that. I could try and get him out of refraction at the same time because I wanted to land some big hits. Now I had a couple of big dice spikes, but I had a couple of duds, probably 3 in a row from Hulk. I was really seeking for some damage on Thanos. But so that's the thing, is take him out of the refraction to try and land that big hit and daze him, so it removes his control. But also dual fold, don't let him be in Death's Decree range. And I do want to bring up, I've got to apologise to Liam. I made an error here on Do You Know Who I Am? And I didn't know this, and fortunately someone did some research while we were playing, and I've incorrectly thrown you, Liam. So when our guys were here...
You can't throw for yourself, is that right?
No. So I would have thrown him that way. I would have had to throw him through the gap here. So I think there was still a gap in play, but that's an apology. I don't think it changed anything, because it just sort of changed the angle, not really the distance. But I do apologise, and that's one, I suppose, an education for people as well, and myself included. I've been playing that, so I sincerely apologise, mate.
The Juggernaut is not the one doing the actual throwing; it's the card that does the throwing. Therefore, you can't move it.
Yeah. So that was a big error on my part.
Yeah.
Okay.
My next 2 questions are sort of slipping over into Morgan, so maybe you want to interject something here, Norbert?
Yes, real quickly, because I think this precedes the questions you're going to ask. Morgan, well, first of all, thank you, Liam, for answering those questions. It's very illuminating. Morgan, was the deployment of Star-Lord to the right, just to move him back into the center, a feint?
Yeah, look, I think I probably actually misdeployed him a little bit too wide. I thought I'd had him within 1 move of the Montesi, but I didn't probably take enough time to do it. So I should have had him close to that central Montesi. But what I try and do against the beta squads, and the most common is Black Order, but Brotherhood do it very similarly. On the C shapes, it's really, really dangerous. And a lot of the traps that new player falls into when you're playing against betas on C shapes is that you put someone up into the middle, and then they get dazed bottom of 1 and then KO'd top of 2. So what I try and do is waste some actions in the back line, and you've got to give up points. You've got to give away points probably for the first round and most likely for the second round. You've got to start playing points down to avoid the early days and early KO. And so having Star-Lord on that side, I'm not sure which way your screen's orientated, but on the side that he was, he had three roles. One was to Rocket and Groot were on the other side. And I was more than happy if he wanted to waste Asteroid M and characters to go shoot them. I couldn't care less. That's fine. He didn't. He did the right thing. He ignored them. But then Star-Lord could have went into the right-hand side, as I look at it, the right-hand side to score that point. If a situation presented where that was the optimal way to go. What I was concerned about was that if I did that, he might get after Star-Lord and lose that beautiful leadership. So I decided instead to go back to the middle and just play safer. But I misdeployed, as you saw there, and he wasn't close enough. So I would have liked to pick up the book and then move further away, because I ran a real risk that he got one shot by Thanos.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
That was a misplay by me.
Interesting. I'm glad you could admit that, because I think that's very illuminating for people trying to understand how to play better. Next question was, how did you feel the table terrain was in terms of helping you or not? And we thought it was quite interesting that did you feel enabled by having the table side choice in this instance?
Yeah, another good question. And look, I know from some discords that terrain and Brotherhood is a touchy subject at the moment. So I'll say this with no sort of bias towards anything, but I do feel out of all the tables available that I was fortunate that this table came down against Magneto. There are some, and look, I'm a long-time Brotherhood player as well, and the more big-sized terrain things you have on there, generally speaking, the better it is for you as a Magneto player. Now, that's not always the case, but generally speaking, it's a bit of an advantage. And so this was fortunate. There wasn't many big things in the middle, so Magneto didn't have many things to throw. But also, I mean, I took Juggernaut and Hulk to be able to throw big things and deny them anyway. But I think this table was more on the, I suppose, on the how do I describe it? On the lesser big terrain side than some of the others. So I think if we drew some other ones, I think Magneto would have done a whole bunch more damage, throwing a whole bunch of things at me. So from that, I think I was fortunate.
Okay.
In terms of sorry, Liam, do you want to say anything on that? Because I'm not saying, by the way, in any way, shape, or form, that Brotherhood are only good because of terrain, because that's not true at
No,
all.
they definitely are. No, like you say, it's been, I think, that's been brought up. I think this board. I've played on this board multiple times in this event and done, like you say, perfectly well in it. It's like you say, it's one of the boards that doesn't have fours. That's pretty much the only thing. But like when we talk about terrain as well, I can't do anything with fives. Like,
Yeah.
is it more that some of these fours that are on table should be bumped to a 5 and you drop one of your free trucks to a 2 to keep the number the same? Because a lot of the tables now don't have 5s like in mid-board sort of space. I'm assuming due to where objectives would land and the things like that. But a lot of factions, like, again, size 5s help things like web warriors and complete flying teams that don't really care. But like, again, that's a sort of thing that makes Juggernaut very hard to move around. I just like it when there's like, at least on my way to the middle of the table, there's a size 2 or 3 that I can turn 1, start the ball rolling, and get some power for Juggernaut to do stuff. The same idea.
Now,
Like I said.
Oh, sorry, Liam.
That's all right. No, go ahead.
We're fortunate in that we have Utility Cookie here. First of all, thank you, Cookie, for being our table judge today. It's great to have you donate your time. Cookie, you designed this map. Do you want to add anything to what's been said about it?
Unleash, Cookie. Unleash the frustration.
Well, I have to say this map is incorrect, but it wasn't when I created it. Someone changed it.
Oh, okay.
Names up, but there's this size 1 here. But when I designed it, I agree that, in my opinion, some maps on TTS have too much size 3 plus terrain compared to how I play in real life on tables. So I try to make this map more like how I make maps in real life. A couple of size 1s, size 2s, and we usually just use maximum of 3 size 3 plus. Discounting size 5, so throwable stuff. So size 3 or 4s, we usually just have 3 of those pieces on the table. 1 size 4, maybe 2, and then 1 3, or just 3 3s or something. Just to keep it more. It changes the pace of the game sometimes if one side has size 4 throws and the other doesn't.
Mm-hmm. People, just to close it off, people has said your choice of adding a horse onto this table was an inspired choice. So keep up the good work there.
Should be a size 3.
It should be a size 3.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. When the horse, when I put it down, I was like, oh man, it's gonna die every game.
There you go. There you go.
Like a size 4.
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you, Cookie. Huggy, one. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. It's Odin's horse now.
Odin's horse.
Like,
Cookie, thank you for that. Huggy, I'll give you the floor in a minute. I have just one last question for Morgan. I felt that the portals actually were very important in this game and used quite often. Is that your experience, especially because I know you're not a big fan of pay-to-flips, and this isn't quite the same, but nonetheless is risky?
Yeah, look, I don't have a lot of experience on intrusions. I've not played it a lot. Mostly because they've only recently come out, and I don't think Guardians like them very much. So the Crisis combination, I actually think in the end favoured me that I had more numbers, because what I think Liam desperately wanted to do was start teleporting across and delete my characters, but because of the portals you drop the extract, he was kind of stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So I think me having more numbers meant that I could have my extract holder, so I don't think I held it multiple until right at the end. They could sort of sit away, and then the rest of my guys could teleport almost at will. And in the end, it probably did more harm than good, except for that one lucky Juggernaut one where he hit the portal correctly and got a big spike into Magneto.
Yeah.
But I think more often than not, I actually failed the portal rolls, which is not a big deal because you can roll for it again. But yeah, I mean, I think it favoured me in this case, which I was surprised at because yeah.
All right, thank you. Huggy, go for it.
Yeah, both of your rosters have certainly seen a big uptick in popularity over the course of the season. There were 2 other Brotherhood and respectively Guardians players in the top 4, for instance. And this particular matchup has been seen before. among other times, in your game, Liam, against Rich Mid. And I was curious if Morgan, did you watch that game prior to the finals, and did you make any takeaways that affected your game plan today? And Liam, feel free to comment on if you drew any conclusions from that game that affected how you played this.
Yeah, okay. Really interesting question. So I did watch that game. I watched the replay and sort of skipped through it just to see the openings. I mean, Demons and Research is a relatively straightforward game, and it's in my mind, it's about the Brotherhood, the narrow Brotherhood just passes and hopes for a slip up from the opposition. And then Thanos will generally wait till last and then control. Now, Rich went pretty aggressive, and I think he may regret that decision. I certainly don't want to speak for him, but in the end, it turned, I suppose, not in his favour that his Thanos got probably too stuck in. Did I draw anything from that? So what I know is that Demons, from the couple of practice games I had, if he drew one priority and drew Demons, that was the worst possible outcome for me. Because I'd be incinerated on points and it's really central, and I can't use the lateral C here to keep away from his big hitters, and he just destroys me in detail. So Demons was bad, but I had no real plan for it apart from prayer. But yeah, so back to your original question, I watched the game. In fact, I tried to watch most of Liam's games in the top cut, and I think all of them, Liam, were recorded. And so it was interesting to watch how he pivoted between play styles. I mean, I think most of them were on E shapes, but I found your game against Frederick probably the most fascinating. Did it change anything for me? Not really. It sort of allowed me, I suppose, to hone my practice matches in on what I thought he would play. So that was probably the biggest thing for me. Is okay, hey, he likes 3 white at 19. All right, let's give that a couple of runs and see how it plays out. But that's probably about it. And I will apologise to Liam that my top 4 game wasn't recorded. For the record, we tried to get it recorded. I asked 2 people to record it, and they were unavailable on short notice. So for that, I do apologise to Liam. And I tried to make up for it by letting him know exactly what I played with characters, priority, and tactics cards, with a bit of a battle report summary in one of the Discords. So, but I do apologise that wasn't recorded, and I certainly didn't want to deny you the ability to scout a Guardians on Guardians, I suppose, mirror on a B shape.
Thank you, Morgan. That's very, very sportsmanlike. Everyone has noted that we need to post that information. Thank you. All right, Huggy, anything else?
I was also curious, Morgan, about going at turn 0 here. You had the option to go for either 19 or 17 points. And I was just curious on your reasoning behind that, because my initial gut reaction was that you would go for 17, since this team that Liam has put forward here is, well, at least the way I see it, the most powerful team he can put forward. So maybe he would have had to leave Thanos out at 17 or play Mystique, but then again, maybe Mystique's deception creates an awkwardness for you that you during round 1 that you were trying to avoid.
Yeah, really tough decision to make. So for 17, I had him pegged for one of 2 rosters, but most likely Magneto, Mystique, and Thanos. And as you've sort of highlighted there, a Deception Mystique on a C shape is pretty terrifying. That and the fact that Mystique turns off Groot's bodyguard, shuts down Juggernaut's -1 damage, turns off Sacrifice, and Mystique's a real problem for Guardians. So I was very keen to avoid Mystique, and I thought that playing at 19, he would be unlikely to take Mystique. And I knew the 3 hitters that were coming, and I figured that I had 2 big boys myself in Hulk and Juggernaut, that I should have enough control to weather the storm and keep his combinations and his synergies separated. Whereas at 17, I've either got Hulk and Quicksilver, or I've got Juggernaut and Voodoo. Now, what that does, in my mind, is that means I've only got 1 main threat in my squad. And I think that makes Liam's target selection and target priority much easier, in that he goes, well, I'm going after Hulk then. And if I get Hulk, it's virtually game over. And I don't have the healing to keep Hulk alive. I've just got to do positioning. So I thought bringing in 2 big hitters, it might make the target priority difficult, and I might be able to rotate them with their throws and movement. That if one takes a bunch of damage, I can rotate them out and then bring the other big boy in. So that was my thought process: have greater access to throws, greater resilience, and 2 big hitters to give him a headache on who he gets after.
Certainly, very very interesting points. And well, in my experience, at least from games I've watched and played myself, is that when you are facing Thanos in a tall build, such as this, either Black Order or Brotherhood, like here, it's the line of play is usually to either try and ignore Thanos and kill everyone around him, or to try and focus him down. And it was obvious here that you tried to focus him down because you were pouring a ton of attacks into him and a ton of resources in displacing him. Do you think that that was your only given option, or could you have elected to try and play around him in this game, given the fact that after all, he never dazed?
Yeah, great point. In that I had this great plan to get after Thanos, and it completely failed. So it was. Liam and I were joking. Actually, it was a bit of an Infinity War, Hulk versus Thanos.
Yeah.
Where Hulk got ass handed to him.
Yeah.
So it was only by Liam's mercy. He had a bit of a mercy kill at the end. There's a bit of a laugh. But look, you're right, Huggy. I don't think that was the only option. I could certainly try and displace Thanos to stop the Death Decree, and then just pour my attacks into Magneto and maybe Juggernaut. But I thought I might be able to have the best of both worlds, and because he's got such fantastic healing cards, he can bring back a character from the dead, not from the dead, from almost dazed or KO'd to fully healthy. So what I wanted to do was put pressure on 2 of his big hitters in Magneto and Thanos. I think pouring into Juggernaut early is a fool's errand. I think he's a mid to late game piece that you try and get after. I think putting pressure on Magneto and Thanos early is good because, in my experience, when you put a whole bunch of damage in Thanos early, that means Thanos has to activate early. And what Thanos wants to do is activate late. So if you can do a bunch of damage to him early and threaten the days, it puts your Thanos player under pressure to activate him early and try and keep him alive. And if he's spending his actions retreating and not being in the thick of it, that's good for me. So I wanted to put pressure on his Thanos. It didn't quite work out that way, but I tried. But I also wanted to get after his Magneto, and that worked more effectively, and that was through luck of I did some work into him, but Juggernaut did a massive spike, as we saw, and got 7 out of 7 damage, which was huge. No one saw that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you could also argue that your plan worked, given just what you said, that you did force some early activations from Thanos, which made it so that you had at least on 2 rounds, if I can remember correctly, where you had several activations in a row after Liam had done all of his activations, and that certainly allowed for you to swing around the points game.
Yeah, look, and that's a really good point. Probably I'll get Liam's thoughts on that, whether he felt that pressure or was not perceived at all. But you're right. I mean, you don't have to go after Thanos. I could ignore him and try and get the other 2. But with the healing, the refraction, and the X and the Y, it's just I don't know. I mean, I think in this game you've got to pick a target or 2 and just keep rolling dice at them, and eventually a spike will come. More often than not, you'll just get a natural spike, and then that's when you double down once you get it. So I was just sort of kept throwing dice and fishing for that natural big swing that might occur in one of the 6 rounds, and it did at a key time on Magneto. But I'll be keen to get Liam's thoughts on how he felt and whether he felt under pressure about Thanos at all, or if that was just sort of me making stuff up in my own mind.
Yeah, no, it was definitely there. Definitely the turn 2, because I think I went with him first. It's all a blur now, to be fair. But yeah, he having to go with him, and then I med packed him or patched up to someone to get that health back onto him. He did, yeah, because he space gemmed to there, then he moved, and then got patched up by Juggernaut or Magneto to obviously get him back to a good healthy range. It's difficult. Like, it definitely is. It's a difficult thing to deal with. Definitely between, I think, like you say, Hulk. There was never a chance I think I had to put 20. Like, I didn't have a chance to put like 12 damage in one turn into him, because even if I did, he gets to come forward again, and then he's going to stagger someone, which then ruins my activation control. Because if he doesn't kill them and gets the wild anyway, because it's all you really want against me. Staggering me, removing actions is a lot more key, because that's what you were doing against Thanos anyway by throwing him away. So if you get a stagger on him and you get to throw him back,
Mm-hmm.
that's that kind of game just on its own.
Yeah.
I find. But yeah, the pressure was definitely on Thanos from turn 2 onwards. But there was a couple of turns where obviously I didn't go when he was like over here.
Yeah.
Just because every time that Hulk was going, he was having to spend an action to move to then, because you kept throwing me away as well, so then you had to spend an action or a gamma launch to get to me to do then 1 or 2 attacks. And yeah, Hulk's dice were quite minuscule for quite a while of the game. You just had that, like, when we let it happen at the end where he got to smack Thanos to get him.
Yeah.
But even your rocket, like you said, you were doing 5 dice attacks into him, and there was, even when he wasn't in fraction range, he just was taking no damage from rocket. And that's where I think the reality gem really shines,
Yeah.
is when folk are doing 5 dice builders into you. If your opponent only has 5 dice builders and they do power per damage and you don't attack that character, they just don't get power because you're blocking 2-ish and then reducing, hopefully. It just matters if you're lucky to get the second. In my list, obviously, you're normally always blocking 2 just due to the cover. And you reduce by 1, that's 3 damage. Most 5 dice attacks, unless you're spiking, aren't doing more than 3, I find.
All right, gentlemen. Morgan, let us leave with the last word. What are your thoughts about the season and what you hope to do going into season 8?
Well, I thought this season was fantastic. I thought it was fantastic under the new crisis selection changes. I personally, I know some don't like it, but I personally love it. It takes away a lot of agency, I feel, for really experienced players who have got a lot of reps and know the turn 0 and the round 1 plays.
Yeah.
So from that aspect, it makes Marvel a little bit harder for me, and it levels the playing field. But on the other hand, I really enjoy that, because it's nice that you can go into a game and it's not about how many reps and how much experience you've got in the turn 0. It's important in your roster construction, but it's, you've got to adapt to see what's on the table in front of you about the random crisis. So I can't pick the optimum crisis against Liam. I've just got to pray that he doesn't draw demons and I get something that's workable, and then you adapt your tactics on the fly. So from that aspect, I've really enjoyed this season, and the preparation is far easier and far less stressful and much more enjoyable. So that's been great. And obviously it's growing again, which is good. I mean, Norb's under your stewardship. You had a bit of a break, but under a few seasons now, it's grown from the first season of 32 or 33.
Yeah.
We've now got 280 thereabouts.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And then you've got Liam, he's only played not a lot of games. He's in the finals, and maybe get a different crisis, and he probably wins this final.
Yeah.
And he's fantastic. So, and also on a selfish perspective, I love that we had another Australian in the top 4. We had Mick Jenkins.
Yeah.
It was really good. So I was really pleased that the Oceanic players in our bracket are really coming along strong. So that's really good. But overall, I thought it was a great season, and looking forward to what crazy things people like Dave come up with in season 8 with the new Shield, and we'll get ready to start moaning about Shield, I suppose.
Yeah. Do you feel like TTS then continues to have a place despite live gaming now being in nearly full swing?
Well, look, absolutely. And because live gaming is in full swing in some parts of the world, it's certainly not in others. And I was, in fact, chatting to Liam pre-game in that I think COVID has had a bit of a resurgence in parts of Australia. We were unaffected or minimally affected for a large amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And the game really died off and when everyone sort of locked down, and TTS was the only real outlet, and now it's struggling to get back on its feet. So whilst the UK and other places in the world it's opening up, which is fantastic, by the way, there's many people who don't have a local community, and their only outlet is to play on TTS, COVID or not. They can be just remote.
Yep.
So I think TTS is a fantastic platform to enable people who love this game to get games in, and certainly they want to get competitive games in, or even just sort of enjoyable games. So, I love the TTS mod, and I'm hugely thankful to all of the admins who run the leagues, and then obviously Llama who does all the mod work. It's remarkable that he spends that amount of time to give so much joy to so many people.
Yeah, really, really true. Last thing then, Morgan, when will we see you in Europe or the United States?
I don't know. I'd love to get a little Team Australia to come across and do one of the team championship events or something. But yeah, who knows? I used to love traveling for X-Wing, and if come up, and I'm available and can afford to fly over to the other side of the world to roll some dice, and my wife won't divorce me, let's do it.
Well, I advise you to come to Adepticon in March next year, if it's at all possible. It was a wonderful con, very big, and one of the premier miniature gaming events in the world. So maybe that'll tickle your fancy.
All right, thanks. I'll keep it in mind.
Yeah, wonderful. All right, everyone. Thank you again, Cookie, for being the referee for us today. And most of all, thank you to the 2 players for a wonderful game for us to watch and an excellent end to the season. Thank you to all of the people who were watching the stream. You were wonderful listening to us and giving us some tips and also some interesting reactions. It has been great. And lastly, let me thank Huggy Bear, who's been with me for nearly every week of the entire Swiss part of the season and the Cuts season, streaming games for bringing this game out to even more of the community to help spread the good word about how wonderful Marvel Crisis Protocol is as a game. So thank you, Huggy.
Thank you, Norbert. It's such a pleasure putting content out there with you, and the positive reactions that we have received over the season has certainly fueled our enthusiasm for this.
Excellent. Good way to end it. So thanks, everybody, and have a great day ahead.